So, what is going on, guys? This is Ryan here.
And this is the Ryan here.
Hey everyone, Razzbowski here.
What's going on, guys? Dorco here.
And welcome back to once again another episode of Theory Thursday. And this episode is going to be episode 20. For this one, we're going to actually be speaking about something quite special and something most of the community has actually overlooked. Now, it seems like everyone is hot on exploring some of the mysteries within Five Nights at Freddy's, but there's also some mysteries left untouched in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. One of the most important ones is actually the identity of the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 security guard.
Yes, I think, like you just said, people are looking for the mysteries of Five Nights at Freddy's 4, but maybe looking back on some of the mysteries that are unsolved in the other Five Nights at Freddy's games may actually answer some of the questions in the Five Nights at Freddy's 4.
Absolutely.
So, basically, we're going to be talking about who the night guard is in Five Nights at Freddy's 3.
Yeah, each of us have a couple of ideas on what we want to be talking about in this episode, because I mean, it's been heavily speculated on who we are playing as in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, whether it even exists. Some people are still thinking that it's all just some kind of nightmare, as the Night 7 challenge suggests. It's called Nightmare, so it might not even exist. Plus, with the phantoms and the hallucinations of Phantom Chica, etc., it might not take. Actually, it might just all be imagined by someone. I think at one point, some people were saying it could be a memory of one of the former night guards that maybe was a Bite of 87 victim, and that's why they were hallucinating it. But we do have some pretty interesting ideas on this whole sexy scenario.
Yeah, so back in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, the first phone call we get introduced by Phone Guy, and he states, "Welcome back." And we were all thinking about, why has he said welcome back? And he says things like, "Oh, you're part of the attraction now." And we were just thinking, why would he say that to someone who's basically a new worker there? And you know, if you're part of the attraction, if you're part of this Five Nights at Freddy's mystery, it just makes me feel like it has to be a night guard who's worked there before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that makes complete sense. And it's just interesting as well, because throughout all of the other Five Nights at Freddy's games, we've always known the identity by at least night 6 of who the night guard we are playing as is. And it just seems to be withheld from us, like the evidence of who this night guard could be. It just seems stripped from our grasps, and we never truly know who this guy is, which leads to one of two things. One, we are actually playing as a night guard, possibly who we saw in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, maybe someone who's grown up, or it could possibly be one of the people we've actually played in the previous Five Nights at Freddy's games, because I don't think Scott would introduce a character into the main series that is Five Nights at Freddy's and not really reveal much of his identity.
Yeah, like you were saying about the whole newspaper thing, usually what's followed by the newspaper is a paycheck with the name and the date on it, but this time it's just nothing but the paper saying that the horror attraction is actually burnt down. And I think we just need to look through the actual game itself to kind of give ourselves some hints. For example, like the hallucinations we see some of the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 cast and some of the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 characters. So it just makes you think it's got to be someone who has some kind of history with both of these characters. Yes.
Now, before we actually go further ahead with this one, I just want to say something, because I know what some people in the comments might be thinking. Now, there is actually a box situated in the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 office which seems to contain most of the animatronics, but if we actually look a little bit careful, we can see that the puppet is not actually within the box yet. We can see this character throughout the establishment in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. I believe in Cam 08 we can kind of see the reminiscence of this character's build. I think there's a mask on the wall, isn't there? Or something like that.
On the right hand side, there's the wee mask.
Yeah, that's it.
It still does. That it still doesn't give an excuse for him to hallucinate the full body of the animatronics. Yes, he's seen their heads, but he hasn't seen the bodies of all the animatronics, so he must have seen them, surely.
Yeah, like they kind of inhibit the same jump scare styles as well, don't they? Like Foxy leaps forward, and it's a similar thing like that. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the only one is, I suppose, Balloon Boy's, because he doesn't really have a jump scare, but there's pictures of the puppet on the walls, but you wouldn't picture it, because he is as he is. Unlike the rest of them, he is as he is in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. He's not burned or destroyed or melted or withered or whatever he is. In the Cam 8, he looks exactly how he does in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which means the person in question here, the night guard, has to be someone from Five Nights at Freddy's 2, so that's either Fritz Smith or good old Jeremy.
Yeah.
It is interesting, though, why we see the Phantom animatronics burnt before it's actually burnt to the ground.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's strange.
I think that's why a lot of people were suggesting that it doesn't.
It's already happened.
Yeah. It's not where. It's hard. It's either somebody's been injured in this and they're sort of imagining it, and or some kind of premonition thing. It's weird. It is strange.
Yeah, I remember we had that theory, didn't we, about the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 having some kind of fire, because obviously we know that the withered animatronics and the toy animatronics were both together then, and obviously judging from the state of these actual older animatronics like the Chica and Foxy, you can see that they're even more withered. So we had that this kind of idea that maybe there was a fire somewhere between there and. I don't know. It's a hard one to balance out, really.
Another thing was, sorry, Lewis, you go first.
Because when you think about it, like, if Fazbear Fright did burn to the ground, and that's why we're getting these hallucination stuff, but it's just the heads what are getting burnt. It's not the bodies and stuff.
Yeah.
So why do we see the bodies of the animatronics all burnt and wrecked as well?
Yeah.
It just goes on to show that it could be a past fire, or possibly not even a fire. Like, we know that the FNAF 2 place was shut down. Like, it could be just a demolition or something.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, because you would have seen. You would have seen them melted a little bit more, or like it looks like they've got streaks on them, but like they would have been more damaged than that. They would have had like it wouldn't be so even. Even if it was even if it was from like smoke damage or anything like that, it wouldn't be quite as patterned as the way it is, which means it kind of suggests that the night guard is hallucinating these things from a traumatic event in the past, and he's imagined them. He's imagining them as what they potentially look like 30 years on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't have hallucinations without visioning something you've seen before. Like, so you know,
it's like when you have dreams. Like you you can't dream something that you've not seen. Everybody that you see in your dream is somebody you've seen on telly or in the streets or something. So it's the same thing with you're having a hallucination. As far as my gathering on the subject is.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking that you was talking about the Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It could possibly be a night guard from there, but it could also be one from maybe Fredbear and Friends as well, because technically we don't actually know about the night guard from that place. Yeah. Who knows? It could have even been the purple guy. He could have been a night guard in that establishment.
Absolutely, yeah.
Then maybe he went and got fired and went on a rampage and killed a load of kids.
Well, another interesting thing as well, which kind of relates this whole the night guard we're playing as in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 to possibly a past employee is the jump scares with Springtrap. Because that's always been something in question. Like, Springtrap appears to be very aggressive. He always wants to get to the office and things like that. But when you actually encounter Springtrap, we have to remember, like, the jump scares in Five Nights at Freddy's 1 were very in your face. And same with Five Nights at Freddy's 2, it would cut after they got really close to your face. And obviously we didn't see the aftermath of the animatronics killing you after. But Springtrap almost approaches you. It's almost like a kind of slow pace. He approaches you and then he stops and then it kind of cuts. He kind of closes his mouth. It's almost like he's more surprised to see who you are.
See, this is what I was thinking, like, because obviously in the Five Nights at Freddy's 4 Night 2 minigame, we see this purple guy fixing up a Springtrap character, so who knows, maybe they work together in a way, and I don't know, maybe like you're saying, he could recognise who this person is.
Absolutely.
What's interesting as well is Scott added that update with the voice of the Springtrap, and a lot of people are saying that it says, like, help me and stuff. And
which relates back to why when he gets in your office, he doesn't try and kill you. He's more kind of shocked just to say, help me, sort of the glare.
Help me. Yeah. You never know, that might be why he did make the fire. The person who, maybe the night guard did cause the fire, I made a theory video on this ages ago. He just wants to get rid of everything, you know, including Springtrap and stuff. But then people say that Springtrap caused the fire, so but then again, it still makes sense, maybe. But then again, you see Springtrap at the back of the article, so why... If he wanted to kill himself on the fire, why would you see him there? Like,
And unlike the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and 2 death screens, we're actually met just by a game over screen, so it doesn't actually show the aftermath of what happens. So, and like Five Nights at Freddy's 4, we know that to be a nightmare, so you know it's understandable that we get that kind of ending.
Yeah, we don't see ourselves get shoved into a suit or anything, so we don't know what Springtrap does to us at the end.
Exactly. So thank you very much for watching this video, guys. We do hope you did enjoy. This was exploring, of course, who the night guard might be in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Be sure to comment any of your thoughts down below.
And if you guys did enjoy this video, why not leave a like rating on all of our videos? And if you're new to either of our channels, why not subscribe for more interesting videos like this and also some gameplays.
So thank you very much for watching the video, guys. We do hope you did enjoy. And we'll, of course, see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye,
guys. On all of our channels.
You guys thought I was going to say that. On all of our channels.